Hi, I'm Sheree Hamson. I'm an agronomist and a farmer, and I'm on Culcairn at Culcairn. One of the biggest issues for farmers after a dry spell is providing enough feed for their livestock, and assessing your pastures is really critical in making that assessment for the following year. So an easy way to try and assess your pasture's viability is put it into three categories. So one, you could look at it, has it been grazed softly and cared for throughout that dry period and has dry matter there for recovery. Two, it may have been an old pasture which is on the brink of being worn out and need recovering. And three, it may have been used as containment or sacrifice paddock and is unlikely to recover from the dry spell.
My name is Warren Scheetz. Live here at Culcairn, our property just north of Culcairn. Mixed enterprise with grain, sheep and some trade cattle. Here we've focused on sort of being proactive, trying to get some feed in early of good quality, just to try and counteract some of the feed gaps we have while we're allowing our other pastures, established pastures and grazing crops to come away. Probably more of the non-traditional aspects rather than just going oats and waiting for the rain to come. We're being proactive, sowing dry, trying to get good quality bulk up early and helping with our stock.
So the paddock that we're looking at here is an example of a pasture that's been well cared for during the dry. It's been fertilised in the autumn to encourage and promote the growth of the existing pasture. It's also been sprayed for weeds so that there's been no competition to allow the pasture to perform to its best capacity. And it's also had gibberellin put on it to encourage extra growth in the grasses. So this pasture is currently supporting ewes that are lambing and has a good amount of dry matter on it. Different pastures have the ability to recover from dry spells in a different way. Clovers recover through their hard seed bank, but if they're overgrazed then they can be windswept and clover numbers can be really low. On perennial pastures, their recovery can be reasonably well if they haven't been grazed into the crown, and that also applies for lucerne. If the stock haven't grazed into the crown, recovery can be okay, but numbers will be less.
This paddock's sown to canola and vetch. That mixes very good performance rates for stock. They seem to do very well on it. They are both establish well in the drier periods when you're sowing early and provide a break crop for our cropping program as well.
So as another option for a pasture that hasn't been performing or won't perform as well after the dry, they can be oversown, and putting grazing canola in is an option. It gives you the ability to clean out problem weeds such as barley grass.
We use retained seed here, which does keep the prices down a little bit for us. It's a risk in a paddock, but we're sort of trying to minimise the risk more to one paddock rather than spreading the risks further over our whole property. We've achieved about 44 DSE per hectare average of sheep with lactating lambs. On reflection this year, this paddock has really proved valuable for us. It's enabled us to maintain our stock and keep them lactating lambs in good condition and on their way for market.
Here you can see a section of the paddock which didn't get oversown with grazing canola, and you can see that there is a significant difference in dry matter production between the two.
Another benefit of this system is it helps us maintain our ground cover on our other paddocks so we don't overgraze and lose our organic matter on top.
Drought really reminds us the importance of ground cover and how your pastures will recover so much better if you provide good ground cover. And that's why it's really important to consider having containment areas or sacrifice paddocks so that you've got a better result in the following year with pasture survival.